So, Teairra, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, alright, so I've got on the phone Teairra Mari. First and foremost, good afternoon, Teairra.
Good afternoon.
Now, we were just speaking, I was a huge fan of your first album. You know, but let's go back. So, how old were you when you first got signed?
When I first got signed, I was 16, turning 17.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had just turned 17 right after I got signed.
Okay. And at that time, you know, what was your mindset going into actually recording the album?
I was just excited, you know, really excited to be working with Jay-Z and L.A. Reid and all these big head honchos in the music business that I had grew up listening to and loving. You know, so yeah, I was just excited. It was all butterflies and excitement going in to record that album.
On the first single, the label were a bit slow in seeing the potential of it, and they were actually thinking of possibly even dropping you after the first single.
Yeah.
Until they saw that it would.
Well, actually, they were thinking about dropping me before they released the first single. That was just I don't know why. They was Reid and Sean Garrett, who's a big writer.
Yeah.
He fought for me. He was like, L.A. Reid, I will do her whole album. Just please don't let her go.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean Garrett at the time was really, really big, like really, really hot. So, you know, for him to be going in for me, L.A. Reid was like, okay, well, maybe there is something there. Sean Garrett is even trying to fight for the girl.
And then the single actually went on to do pretty well.
Yeah, so then they released the first single, and it did really well. And then we picked the wrong second single. We picked an urban first single and then a pop second single, so I think that the audience was a bit confused as to who I was. We didn't put any bridge to gap, you know, we didn't bridge the gap in between the urban song and the pop song. So I think people were just confused, like, who is this girl? First we thought she was this urban girl from Detroit, and now she's like a pop girl. So, you know, I think people were just confused, and it didn't work.
I mean, so you're talking about My Daddy, the second single?
Yes, yep, No Daddy.
I mean, sorry, No Daddy. So, to me, maybe it's different, but that didn't sound like a pop song to me, though. It sounded pretty hard, though. It didn't seem like it was a pop single, to me.
Yeah. Well, it is over here.
Okay.
You know, like, we have, of course, our urban charts and then our rhythmic charts. I'll say maybe it was more of a rhythmic, you know, top 100 type of record. It's not really looked at as an urban record. Urban radio didn't want to play that song.
Okay, cool. So
and that's who I had my biggest support from, was the urban radio.
Okay. So even at that time, I mean, so moving forward, at that early stage, how are you able, because you're only young at that time, so how are you able to deal with all those, you know, the possibilities of things not going too well? You know, did you ever doubt whether you wanted to continue with music? Like, was the pressure ever getting too much for you?
Well, not while I was signed. I didn't start doubting music until I got released from the label after the second single didn't work, and then they let me go. And then that's when I was just like, wow, you know, like, I thought these people were my family. You know, I was young and naive, and I really didn't understand the business. So that's when I started to doubt whether I wanted to continue or not. But, you know, again, I was very young, so I didn't know what I was thinking.
But I think you got the phone call, was it when you were on your prom date?
Yes, on my prom day. So I just really felt like, oh my God, all the cards that I'm getting dealt are horrible, and I didn't want to do music anymore. Really?
So then what made you get back into it then, afterwards?
Well, I ended up getting a call from this girl that used to dance for me, and she said that she knew this guy named Kuda Love out of L.A. or whatever, and he wanted to meet with me, and she told me who he was and that he did road managing back in the day for Biggie, and that he had discovered Mace and Nelly and managed Mace. And she was like, you know, I think it'd be good if you meet with him. So I met with him, and well, he called me. I was actually I was living in Atlanta at the time, and he called me, and he was like, I want to fly you out to LA, and let's just see, let's put you in the studio and see how the chemistry is between us, you, my producers, me. And so he flew me out to LA. I stayed in LA for about a week. We recorded songs. And at first, we really weren't feeling each other. It was like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then he ended up flying me back out here again. He said, let's just try one more time. I'm going to put you with some different producers. And so he flew me back out to LA. And while I was in LA, we just clicked, and I ended up signing to his company. And he's been like my #1 cheerleader for the last 4.5 years.
Okay, so explain if you can the new situation with Rico Love that you have going on.
Well, Kuda Love, he knows Rico very well, and he kept telling me, like, I want you to work with Rico Love, and this was kind of before Rico had any hits really on the radio. So he said that he wanted me to work with him, and so I was like, okay, I'll try it. Because I wasn't happy with any of the music that we were doing. And so then me and Rico got in, and it was just an instant connection. And so when I signed my first record deal, when I signed my new record deal with Warner Brothers, I ended up signing the deal with Warner Brothers. Then we released a song called Sponsor.
Yeah. And
it started doing really well. And Warner Brothers just didn't they didn't catch it. Like, they didn't pick it up. They didn't release a follow-up single. It was just like they just weren't into my project.
What is quite interesting in just hearing what you said is that it seems that you've had bangers, you've had songs that have done well, and it seems like some of the labels or whoever have been slow to react to that. Like, when that happens, like, what do they tell you the reasons are for them not following up?
Well, when you deal with big corporations, sometimes they don't even give you reasons.
Oh, okay.
So, I never had a reason from Def Jam, but with Warner, I got a half reason, and it was just like, well, you tried to test the waters with. Wait, what did they say? Oh, that the song didn't do that well on the top 100 chart, which was a bunch of bull crap to me because it did so well on the urban side, which I am an urban artist. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I asked to be released from Warner Brothers, because I didn't feel like they made any sense whatsoever.
Right. Personally, I think that, I could be wrong. So this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to put words in anyone's mouth. I've always felt that if you're given the same platform and the same push, I reckon it'll make things more interesting in terms of the industry. I just kind of feel that there may be vested interest why at certain points people haven't pushed you, because I know that over here you may not see it, but you've had a huge following from people who really were digging your music. And
I agree on a certain level, of course, and that's about getting the team tight too, and that's why I asked to be released from Warner Brothers, because they didn't want to spend the money to put me on, a broad platform. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like I don't want to keep doing the same stuff. The things that they were doing for me, I could do on my own. So if you're not going to give me that extra push that I need, that universal push, then it's just like I don't want to be there.